Hi guys, my name is Meads. This is going to be another segment of Behind the Reviews, in which I'm talking about the length of my reviews. Why are they long? Yep, they stretches from 15 minutes usually to half an hour to 45 and even an hour long. Yeah, why is it so long? And I get asked this, from time to time. And yeah, it's a good way to make another one of these segments. Although I find that making these segments are actually quite longer than my typical reviews because trying to think of ways to answer it as well as other things. Yeah, I find myself redoing this video because midway making this, I thought of something else and like, oh, I could have put it here and there. Probably a good idea to have a list in front of me. Yeah, which hopefully this works out for this particular take. Anyways, getting back on topic. And I do apologize. I'm gonna ramble on and maybe get off track and yeah, all that good stuff. So that is the question. Why does it take me long to make reviews? Typically a good review, and I believe a lot of you will agree on this, that it should take within 2 to 5 minutes. Kind of like a commercial. And that's will give you the impression if the figure is good or bad. It's either a make or break deal. And kind of goes along with the whole idea of impulse buying. Yep. Typically, that's how commercials are. See something really cool, oh, I want to get it. I'm going to buy it. And with how things are now, you can just hit the buy button or put it, or you can look it up online real quick and just buy it right there. Then regret comes after, like, oh, why did I just buy that? And among that, for those who was like, after watching a commercial or a quick review, like the person said it's not that good, or not that impressed with all the good things that has been said, that person will go to the next reviewer and see how it is. Now, each reviewer does it differently, and I think that's the beauty of YouTube these days with the figure reviews. You get to hear from other reviewers what their take on it. And sometimes it's good for one reviewer, sometimes it's not for another. And for me, I'm more of a lenient person, I would say, or a lenient reviewer. I usually take what's good on a figure, and if there is something bad, I kind of find ways to make it good. Now, I'm not trying to sugarcoat my reviews. If there's something bad, I point it out, but I kind of dwell on the good aspect of the figure, or sometimes a mold-kit. So I'm a bit lenient on stuff, but I do point out all the stuff that I find. Alright, so with that said, we'll go with the reasons why I have lengthy reviews. Number one, affiliation. Now, affiliation is in terms of when you partner up with a store, usually an online store, you get free stuff to review. So it's like a bit of a contract and a trade. You get free stuff and you review that figure or mold kit and on a timely manner to promote their store. I've done that before, actually with Tatsu Hobby. It worked out for the earlier part, and then later on it becomes a bit stressful and it just doesn't work out for me. Reason being, it's a mold kit. It's a lot easier to review figures, not mold kits, unless you have a lot of time. Back then, I'm still a student. You get actually quite a bit of time, and you can build those high grades or even a master grade, within a day. Even add all the decals or even paint it up. You can do it relatively within a week. It's a lot easier. But when you start working or have other responsibilities, it's just a lot harder to do that. Sometimes a high grade could take a month. And just start to find a good time to work on it. Sometimes motivation or it's just not there. You just want to just sit back, watch something or play games. So that's that aspect of that. It didn't work out for me, and sometimes you get a kit that you don't want to, but you made a contract, you gotta do it, and you're forced to do a review on it. And for the most part, you want to do a positive feedback because you're promoting the web store. Yeah. So I just reverted back, and regardless, if the figure or mold kit, if I want it, I'll buy it. And that's how it is from then on. In terms of Tatsu Hobby, and I like supporting my local hobby store. I buy from Tatsu. It's typically for all the Tamashi stuff and mold kits. It's my go-to place. Other than that, I mentioned in my reviews where I get my other things from. AmiAmi, Nippon Yasan, Biba Toy Store, and lately Supreme Collector. So I do mention where I get my stuff from. So with that said, I'm not forced to make reviews right away, and it's just a big burden off me. And yeah, it's just a lot nicer. And for that matter, I'm not constrained to do a really short video to attract customers, and which is maybe a good thing. So it's not a biased review, although every review is biased. But yeah, for that matter. Another thing is, let's see here, going along with time constraints, is that I'm working. I do have a profession, and sometimes I only get an hour or so to do these reviews. Then I gotta go to work. Typically for me, on a work day, I wake up, get my coffee, which I have now. I do some reviews, and towards the lunchtime, then I gotta get started, started to get ready. I work at 3 o'clock, but I need to get out of the house by 2. I work from 3 to near midnight. That's my work time. I work what you call a swing shift. It's like the middle shift. My facility is 24/7, so you have day shift, swing shift, then you have night shift. Luckily, I'm in the middle. It kind of works out because I stay up late. When I get home, I don't typically sleep till maybe 1 or 2, then wake up around 8. So it works out. It's a nice schedule actually. But on that aspect as well, I don't do reviews at night. I live with my parents. I help pay for the rent for the most part. And yeah, I cannot do reviews at night. It'll probably sound weird to them. Who's that guy yelling? Well, not yelling, but talking loud about a figure or whatnot, or whatever it is. And I have to kind of, yeah, I have to project my voice. Otherwise, if I talk in a mellow way, the review won't sound good. Although at times I do sound like that because I'm just tired, or I just woke up. I didn't have my coffee yet, or for other weird reasons. But I try to be excited, and I think that's part of the review. You gotta put a bit of emotion on what you're reviewing and be excited about it. So yeah, kind of just revealed my typical work day. So it's a bit limited, and that kind of goes along with the next reason, time constraint. I have about, when I do a review, it typically takes me about an hour or so to do, at least an hour. There are times where I have to do multiple takes, and which gets to the next reason is editing. I don't do much editing at all. The only editing I do is when I redo a certain segment. For a typical review, which is the same formula I've been using, and you can see this on other reviewers as well. You look at the box, right? Do an unboxing. Maybe you want to check out the instructions real quick. I do that too sometimes. Then you go over the figure in terms of articulation. Then you go over the gimmicks and your final thoughts. Typically, that is the review format, which a lot of people are accustomed to. Some people find it boring. Yeah, but it works. And when I go somewhere, that's kind of what I want to watch. Like, that's a full review. Now, some people do crazy intros to kind of grab people's attention. Some people show themselves. That's great. But for me, I keep it simple. I want to get straight to the point. well, not really straight to the point, but straight to reviewing right away. And I don't want any other distractions. I want the viewers to have the focus on the figure. Hence, I don't really have, fancy background or showing myself or any of that matter. And that's how I do the reviews. Keep it like that. And at times, certain segments, it takes me 5 or 10 times or 10 redos. Especially towards the end when I'm saying my final thoughts. Sometimes midway, I thought of something new. I don't want to add it in. So I retake that shot. Sometimes those are about 2 to 3 or even 4 minutes long. So I got like 10 4-minute long video clips. I'm trying to finalize my thoughts. So that's that. And I still use Windows Movie Maker. That's how I compile my videos. And at times, and I appreciate my viewers pointing this out, that it seems like a deja vu that they've just watched me redo the same thing again. So there's mishaps when I left out that particular video or video segment. So editing, yeah, I just don't have enough time to do editing. It takes a lot longer, especially if you have to add the effects, the gimmicks. Yeah, and like I mentioned, I just want to keep it simple. I think another reason why my reviews are long is I think that's the only time I get to play with it. And this is a recent realization that, yeah, that's the only time I get to play with them sometimes. Certain figures, they look great. And, that's something that you pre-order. Unfortunately, pre-order extend up to 8 months. By the time you get the figure, yeah, I'm not into it anymore, or other figures interest or pique your interest more. That said, some figures, like, I got it, like, oh, this was awesome 8 months ago, not so much anymore. I do the review because it's still relevant. It's a newly released figure, but it gets shelved or it gets put in storage. And at those times, when I do the review, that's the only time I get to play with it. Yeah, it may sound really sad, and for other collectors out there, or you're just getting to collecting, why would you do that? Why would you just leave it in a box? Unfortunately, that is the reality of things. If you become a power collector, like myself, and what I'm saying is that when your shelves are stacked with figures, when you've been doing this for quite some time now, where you have a storage problem, and I'm getting there, yeah. I really need to manage my storage a bit, or your space is limited, you're gonna get to that point where if you are a reviewer, you're gonna review something and you have to put it back in a box. I mean, I could just throw away the boxes, that way it'll save me more space, but in the long run, I do want to sell some of them. And when you sell them, you want to have the box. Typically another collector would want it, and it just keeps everything together, nice and neat, and preventing other things from rubbing or getting damaged. So box is essential sometimes. So that said, yeah, and sorry, I'm getting lost track here, but yeah, unfortunately, that is the truth of things. I wish I had more space. Yeah, but yeah, I mean, the only solution for my problem is I gotta sell. Although selling is another problem on its own. Yeah, a lot of my stuff are rare now, and as much as I want to sell them, the market out there could be very dangerous. And some of you are probably aware of this, where you're trying to post something up and someone will try to scam you. And that always, in the back of my head, like, I don't want this figure to be just taken away and taken advantage of and being sold again at a higher price. I rather have the figure go to another collector who is looking for it. Yeah. So that's the other aspect of that. Selling is difficult. Yeah. That's probably a good segment. Anyways, moving on. Another reasons why my reviews are really long is I want to show the steps on how I get from point A to point D or F. When there's like a transformation or when I put things on. And yeah, just show you how it's done. Sometimes it's really frustrating, especially when you're trying to, assemble things or plug stuff in. I want to portray that because I've stumbled upon it before when I'm trying to figure out how is this thing assembled. The instructions are not really clear, and sometimes you have to go to reviews. If you are watching a commercial-like review, it's not shown. They skip a lot in terms of transformation. Some people do a fast forward kind of thing, or sometimes they point it out. But it'll be nice if someone points it out and takes the time to show, there's a problem here, and this is how you will do it. And I do that sometimes on my reviews where I point out like this is a possible way to fix it or certain issues on the figure. And I really appreciate that on when people do that on the reviews, and it helps out a lot of people. And I'm hoping that some of my reviews are like that to some. Now granted that there's only gonna be like a handful of people, maybe 2 or 3 people are having issues, and I would appreciate that part of the review compared to getting thousands and thousands of views for having an awesome review. But like I said, or when I do these reviews, it's part of my hobby. I like to share what I have to other collectors out there. The monetization, the little bit that I get here, well, maybe not little compared to other people, but it might be a good amount for other people. It's mostly, it's like an icing in the cake. It's like a little, it's what I get back. A little thank you for all my viewers out there, which helps me in getting more figures or pay for the next haul and stuff like that. And yeah, I just want to share that, and also the experience of frustration. I want to capture that too. There are a couple of times when the peg just won't go in. What is wrong with that? I don't know. I just find it fascinating recording that aspect of that. Or if something flows away or something breaks. I remember that Gypsy Danger Mall Kit review where I go over articulation and that thing just falls apart. Yeah, I want to portray that because when someone buys a kit and build it, then all of a sudden when that person tries to fiddle with it and it starts falling apart, and it's different from what you expect from all the promotional pictures, and maybe someone do a commercial review of it, they're not gonna show that. But for me, I want to tell my viewers, just a heads up, it's not as good as you may think of it is, but there's a workaround around it, or you gotta put quite a bit of effort to make it work. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it. There's a lot of reasons I can justify why my videos are long, but those are some of them. And yeah, I'd like to hear what your thoughts about it. I sometimes I try to do something different. It works, but sometimes it just doesn't. I try to be creative with my reviews. There are times where I try to have like a... I remember this with my Kotobukiya Zoids mold kit, those little chibi ones, the D styles, where I make a 5-minute with audio swap. Those are really cool, and I get a lot of views on those as well. But sometimes people will still ask me, how is this a review? 5 minutes? Yeah, this is not really a review. Well, that was back then, but now people are more lenient on 5-minute reviews. Yeah. Anyways, that's that. And the stuff you see in front of me, I haven't reviewed them. Definitely I will review the Master-Made Destruction Scorpion, I think, which is it's after the Scorponok one. Really cool figure. I will review that eventually. The Barbatos 100 here, the Lupus Rex. This is just a straight build. Haven't had anything on it. I enjoy building the 1/100 scale, the IBO kits. Again, with the reviews, someone probably did a better job reviewing this already. So if ever I've customized in the future, I'll probably touch up on a review. But as it is, I'm not gonna do a review on that. Well, maybe, but it's not in my priority list as compared to the other ones. I do have the Full Armor Gundam, the anime version. I like it. I actually like the anime Robot Damashi, but just they're so weird. It's just weird. I like the figures. Just for me to review them, I just don't have the motivation. I think people just don't like. I mean, when I go to the Facebook or the groups I'm in, not a lot of people are posting them, which is kind of odd. So that's kind of impact me also. Like, man, I don't know if people want it. So, I mean, there's other cool figures I have to review. Along with that, Diaclone. Yep, I do have most of them. The Diabattles V2, the Cosmo, this powered stuff. Yeah, they're really cool figures, and I will review them eventually. Just I'm trying to find time because the Combiner one, the Diabattles V2, there's more to it. You get several, like three or four vehicles, and they have a lot of configuration. And that's the thing with reviewing figures like that, where there's a lot of configuration. It takes time, and granted, how I do things, it'll probably take it's gonna be an hour-long review. Unless I figured a quick way to do things, or if I didn't stumble on any issues. But that's typically how it is. Yeah, I really need to do something about it, but you know, really, sometimes it's just laziness. Anyways, that's about it for this segment. I appreciate if you stick this far listening to my rambling. But yeah, I just want to keep it simple and just show you how it is, and as if you were playing with the figure. That's kind of how my reviews are, keeping it natural. Anyways, that's about it for this segment. I appreciate my viewers' support, and if you got questions, yeah, let me know. I'll try my best to answer that for you. But if it's something like this, maybe I'll make it a topic for the next behind the reviews, and that's about it. So until then, this is Meads. Thanks for watching.